Hi everybody, I've got one more video here for you about the US Census, and this time I want to focus on the American FactFinder and getting the data from the American FactFinder from the website into ArcMap. We noticed that just on the US Census website itself with the Tiger files, there are some Tiger files that you can download with some of the basic summary demographic information, one of its data sets, and that was a lot of neat stuff. But remember that you can't get everything that the census has got through that route. So if you want to get really into all of the data, and it's a tremendous amount of data that the census has got, you really have to go into the American FactFinder and pull out those data tables. So let me show you how to do that. They actually make it really easy. So let me show you what I was working with. It's probably already got, where I had searched, and you already saw how to search. So I was just interested in, let me look up some information on poverty. So I was doing a search on poverty, that's my topic, and then I was looking for information on all of the states within the United States, and Puerto Rico, it says. So I'm looking at state-level data for the entire United States. And so for state-level data of all the United States, here are all of the poverty-related files. You can see the codes down the side for which data table it is. So let's just say, okay, poverty status in the last 12 months. Let's say I'd like to look at that across the states. And I'm going to say view. This is the one that I had selected anyway, I believe. And so when I open this up here, I get the data table. I noticed, now of course, it will let you download the Microsoft Excel file right here. But I did notice I keep running into problems doing that just because there's a limit to the number of rows that the American FactFinder allows you to download. And so if you go beyond a certain number, it was like 280 or something like that, it won't let you download it. And every one that I come up with is larger than that. And that's rather inconvenient. You can go up here to modify a table, and you can start checking off things that you don't want, and sort of build your own table about just the information that you want. Because there's a lot of information here. So, population from poverty status is determined, broken down by ages over here, by sex and by race. But then I've got total here. I've got total poverty level, an estimate and a margin of error, and then percent below poverty level. So I may not be looking for all of that. And really I wasn't. I was actually looking for this column right here. Just an estimate of the percentage of everybody in the state who is below the poverty level. That's what I was interested in. So that's just what I wanted to look up. So it's a lot to turn off. But, they make it really easy to get all this information into your ArcGIS, so that you can do your analysis with it. So I'm going to, I need to hide these tools. So I'm back to my ordinary table here, and I'm going to say create map. And it's going to ask me click a data value to add to a table to map. So I was interested in the estimate of the population for whom, the whole population estimate at the state level. So I'm going to click on that. And it says the selected data values to the map are percent below poverty level, estimate population from population. That's exactly what I wanted. By state. Show map. It's going to open a web map here. And it gives you a rather rudimentary choropleth map showing that data. And I think there are some things that you can do to change it up, even here inside the census. Transparency, number of classes, your range. So if you're just trying to do some kind of web mapping thing, you have a little bit of information here for choropleth mapping, boundaries and features, that you could play with here. It's not terribly robust. So I want this inside my GIS software package. I want to be able to do whatever I want to do with it. So I want the data. Check this out. Download right here. And it even gives you the shapefile. So you don't have to worry about getting the geometry from someplace else like the Tiger files. It gives you the ability to download the shapefile that this data is associated with right here. So I'm going to go ahead and click here for shapefile, and it says it includes the data used to create the map in a .csv format. Great. Okay, so I'm going to say OK. Now it's ready for download, so I will say download. let's check out what it gave me. Of course, it does give me a zip file, thematic map shape. I'm going to extract all and say extract. And look, well, again, that looks like a shapefile to me, right? We've got all of the different component parts here. I don't want to, and it even has the PRJ file. I don't want to open it that way. I'm going to go into ArcMap and add data and tell it, yeah, that's it, thematic map shape. So it's got a weird name. I probably want to rename this unless I was real familiar with all the codes here, so it's something that I knew what it was. So there's the shapefile. I'm going to add. Looks like all the US states to me, so that works. Let's take a look at what's in the attribute table. Not a whole lot. I've got the name of each state here, and it gives me area and the length that may be perimeter. Importantly, I do have this Geo ID over here, so this is a unique identifier for each one of the census geographies. So I'm going to close that because I don't have my data. I don't have my percent poverty in here. Because remember, it told me that it provides the data to me in a .csv file. And here it is right here, thematic data. Here's a CSV file that it gave me, so I can open this. I've got OpenOffice on my computer right here, but it will open up in Excel if you've got Excel as well. OpenOffice is free. So I'm going to open that up, and it's going to ask me how I want to open it. And I think at one point, I think I had semicolon and space checked, but notice that that just produces one column, and that's not what I want. This is a CSV file. It's comma delimited. That's what it's called. So when I say, it's the commas that delimit each individual cell, I can see, oh yeah, I have two columns here. I've got a Geo ID column, and I've got a data value column. So once I select comma here, I say OK, and then I can take a look at it. So I do have Geo ID, and then you recognize that from the shapefile. Oh, I need to execute a table join. I need to join the Geo ID with the Geo ID and the shapefile. That's the unique identifier. And then it does say data value over here. So I would probably want to change that if I were doing something else and going further with this, because data value, if you're bringing in lots of data, you're not going to remember what data value is. It's very important to stay organized. Very important to stay organized. So I would want to change that to something that I understood. But you know what? I'm not even going to do anything with it right now. I just want to show you that I can join based on a CSV file. So I opened it up here just to take a look at it, but I didn't even really have to do that. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to go back into ArcMap and then say thematic data.csv. Oh, do you see something weird about this? I meant to mention this. It gives you the shapefile, but do you see something really, really weird about this? I do. But let me just go ahead and show you what's going on here. I'm going to say thematic data right there. I'm going to say add, and then I'm going to execute a join. Join and relates. Join attributes from a table. Yes, please. I would like to join based on Geo ID. And I would like to, yes, that CSV file, I would like it to be based on Geo ID. Keep all records, keep only matching records, fine. Validate join. Join's validated, everything lined up just fine. Say OK. And now when I go over here, data value in my attribute table. Now I've got it in my GIS. I can, do whatever kind of thematic choropleth mapping or other thematic mapping that I want, and set up a good color scheme, of course. But there you go. Table joined, data joined. Now, what's the weird thing about this? This is the weird thing about the shapefiles that map download gives you. Look at the difference between this and the standard states shapefile from the U.S. Census. Look, here's Puerto Rico, here's Alaska, and here is Hawaii. This is really, really weird, and this is why I probably wouldn't use this this data file, because it's moved the geometry of the states into what really looks like where you would have like insets. But I wouldn't want that. When I'm trying to do analysis here, I don't want the states to be moved. I didn't. I think that's a really weird thing for them to do. So it kind of generates that shapefile for you with the states misplaced, as far as I'm concerned. It puts the states in not their own place because it's stuck. Because here they were insets, and so it gave you the geometry based on where the insets are, and that's weird. That's really weird. I don't like that at all. I want to be able to use my own data, because I'm going to add, it's probably going to give me some weird messages here, but I'm going to go to my basic GIS data and pull out my states file, which has all the states in the proper geographic position. See the difference here? See, there's Alaska based on this one. And here's Alaska based. I want that gone. I don't want to use that. I would much rather, I'm not going to use their shapefile at all. I'm going to remove that. And what I would want to do is attach that CSV file with that table join to my real states shapefile. So everything is in its proper geometric position. And then I'll handle doing the insets in my own layout. I don't need their kind of weird help to do that. So the only thing that I have to do is be sure that I have Geo ID, which I might not in this particular shapefile. It looks like this file does not have the Geo ID to match up, and this one did not have the state's name in it. So I've got to have this Geo ID in both. So how am I going to get the Geo ID for each state? Well, now is where you need to go to your Tiger files and be able to download one of the Tiger files from the U.S. Census, because the U.S. Census Tiger files have the Geo ID for each state in the attribute table. They still don't exactly make it easy for you. I've already shown you how to download a Tiger file, so I'm going to just show you the one that I downloaded. Here are the U.S. states. I'm going to skip that right now. And then say open attribute table. And so here is Geo ID. And a problem is you can see that it's immediately not going to line up directly, because this is just the last two digits of that Geo ID, whereas that Geo ID that we had was really long. So I want to be able to execute a join based on the Geo ID here. So I should be able to do that without too much problem, though. I'm just going to have to manipulate the CSV file here. So I'm going to remove it and then open up the CSV file. Comma delimited, that's fine. And then search for, I think all of these have exactly the same little prefix. They should anyway. There we go. I said search and replace with nothing. That should give me all of those. Yep, looks pretty good to me. Oh, I can tell I'm going to have one other problem, because I bet that these have leading zeros. Geo ID. Alabama is 01. Let's check over here to be sure. When I say 1, 8, that was actually the top number, so I believe that's right. But I'm supposed to have a leading 0 over here. So fortunately, in this case, it's not going to be all that hard to fix that. Leading zeros, 1 leading 0. Yep, I just changed that in the setting over here. Now I'm going to save it. File, save. Keep the CSV format. Okay, I think that looks good. Let me add that to ArcMap. And let me see if I can execute that join now. Geo ID. Yep. Let's just see what we got. Yeah, I have 52 selected. Yeah, it did. 0 out of 52 rows selected, and every one of them has a data value in it. But okay, but that's it. Each one of these, including the District of Columbia, because it was actually in this particular shapefile, and maybe even Puerto Rico. Yeah, that's why we have 52. So it even found those. So okay, that's looking good. I guess that's all that I want to say about the U.S. Census. We should be experts in getting information out of the U.S. Census now. But it is such a wealth of information. It is really good to sort of know it and be able to get information out of it, and especially know things about that weird shapefile that it gives you when you download it out of Maps. Don't use that shapefile. Get rid of that shapefile. Go back and add it to, use a table join to add it back to a good shapefile that has all the states in their correct geographic position. I've never seen somebody do that with a shapefile before. So, live and learn. All right, see you in another video.